You can't make music without being a listener. You can't understand music history without being a listener. You can't understand musical quality. You can't even begin to approach an arrangement. You can't practice without being a listener. It's the center of everything. My name is Steve Young. I'm part of the music faculty here at Concordia University in Irvine, California. I've been doing this here at Concordia for about 9 years now. And in that time, what I've learned is that our students come to us not knowing how to listen. And our curriculum has shifted over the last few years where we actually start with that in mind, teaching them how to listen, sometimes for the very first time. I teach them to close their eyes. I teach them to close their textbooks, put their notes away, definitely put their phones away, and just shed all of those extra things that would compete for our attention. But the tools are just as important. Once we put all those distractions away, we need to be listening using tools that are inspiring. We need to use tools that accurately portray the music as it is, as it was meant to be heard. We are sitting in the recording studio in the Borland Manske Center, which is a 2-year-old music building here on our campus that we're very excited about. We built this building after quite a few years of bursting at the seams in our old facilities. We used to rehearse in the old bookstore and rooms like that. They weren't proper music facilities. We hired Walter Storck Design Group. John Storck is a world-renowned acoustician and architect. We have a recording studio here that we're sitting in, but in addition to that, we have 2 large halls that total about 6,500 square feet, one for orchestra, one for choir, that are all connected to the studio as well. One of the things that's really important to us is to create a culture of excellence here. And that extends from the way we practice to the way we perform, the way we treat each other, the kind of people, the kind of citizens we're going to be. But of course, it also extends to our technology. Every student in our program takes music production in this room, and they all get to be hands-on with this console, whether that's their chosen focus or not. And it's vital that we define what audio excellence is for these young students who probably haven't had any access to any equipment that sounded good. My first experience with a Rupert Neve design was when I was probably 19 years old, and I was in a recording studio with an old vintage console, and I didn't really understand any of it. It was just a sea of knobs and faders, and I didn't know anything, and I was hoping that nobody knew that I didn't know anything. But all I knew is that the music was inspiring to me and that it moved me, and I just knew that this is what I wanted to do with my life. The 5088 is just an obvious choice for us because of our value for excellence. If we want to record a rock band and we want everything to sound aggressive, we can do that. And if we want to record a choir or an orchestra and we want everything to sound pristine and clean and silky smooth, we can do that too. But there is just something about plugging in a 57 and just running it through this console. It just sounds great. No matter what you're doing to it, it just sounds great. The console that's the most modern today is going to be obsolete next year. Those features, that are so hot right now may not be so hot a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. But what never becomes obsolete is just pristine sound. And so we decided to put our resources with those types of values. Our computers, our plugins, we still embrace all the technology that's available today, but all of that can evolve. The console is going to sound just as great 10 years from now as it does today.